Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be our Unit 8 of AP Computer Science A. I'm Meek, and I'm going to be teaching this class way better than your teacher can. Today we're going to be covering two-dimensional arrays. As I like to call them, they are arrays of arrays. We're going to be discovering how to traverse them, how to apply them, how to create them, so on and so forth. Let's get right into it. So first and foremost, I want to give us a conceptual understanding of what exactly a two-dimensional array is. I first told us that it was an array of arrays, okay? Let me draw an array right here in the the curly braces syntax that we would usually use when defining it, okay? So if I have an array of arrays, first of all, I have an array with 3 elements right here. But I can put that inside another bigger array where I have 2 arrays, and those 2 arrays are inside one big array. Okay? So if I was looking at it from the outside, I would see one outer array where that outer array has something at index 1 and it has something at index 2. Okay? And if I want to look at what is present at index 1, I discover that it is an array that is present at index 1. And so the item that is present at index 1 is an array that has an index 1, an index 2, and an index of 3. And the array that is present at index 2 also itself has index 1, index 2, index 3. And this indexing syntax is going to make more sense once we actually create one. And so we're going to do just that. Okay, unlike the array list, the two-dimensional array is something that is included in the Java program, so you don't need to import anything. And let's create one first and foremost. Our two-dimensional array is created with, let's say we want to create a two-dimensional integer array. Then we're going to do int square bracket to indicate there are 2 dimensions to it. And if we name this, we're going to call it, let's say, coordinates. I'm going to call it COOR for short. Coordinates equals, and now it's time to specify the exact dimensions of our integer array. So we would say, let's say it's a 4 by 4 array, meaning the first number right here specifies how many indices there are in the outer array, and the interior, or the secondary index right here, specifies how many indices they are in the inner arrays. So if I want to have an two-dimensional array where there are 4 indices in the main array, and each of those indices contains an array that is 2 indices in length. Okay, and we would terminate that with our semicolon. Okay, now the AP CSA College Board likes to treat this with like rows and columns, which I think is really, really stupid, but regardless, I'm going to have to teach you how to understand it for your AP exam. Okay, so I already analyzed it as an array of arrays, but what we can say here is that if I put the outer array like this, let's use the example we were dealing with before, with four elements inside of it. The APCSA likes to illustrate an array of arrays as having rows and columns, meaning that an array of arrays can be looked at like this, as if it were a rectangle, where across the top here you have your index in the primary array, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, and along the columns you have your index in the secondary array. Your row designation, how far you are along in the row, is given by the first variable in your bracket. Let's say we're trying to access 3 in the row, okay? And then the second variable in the bracket says I want to access index 1 in the column. So index 3 along the row is this guy, and index 1 in the column goes down to this guy. So this specification specifies this element in the third array and the second element in the third array. Okay? I think it's really confusing. You might need to rewatch this part of the video a few times to understand what I'm trying to tell you, but this is the kind of language that is going to be used on the AP Computer Science A exam. All right. So I've assigned some variables, not some integers to my integer array right here. And now I'm going to show us how to traverse through it and print out these values to the user. Okay? So in order to traverse it, you guessed it, we're going to need to use loops. Okay? Now to continue us having this new type of loop fresh in our mind, I'm going to demonstrate using the for each loop. So for each integer n in the array int, in the array coor, and then for each int x in the array n, system.out.println x. Okay? And that should print out to the user all of these numbers in order. Okay? So this first for each loop says for each for each integer array n in this coordinates, and then for each integer x in n. Okay? So remember that we need to specify the data type of the variable that we're getting from coor, and the data type we're getting out is a one-dimensional integer array. We're getting out this array right here, or this one, depending on what iteration we're going through. Okay? So once the first for each loop has gotten us to the first array, then the second for each loop iterates through the integers in that secondary array, and it prints out the integers in that secondary array. So we can compile this and run, and you'll see that we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? If you need extra help with for each loops, join the Discord. I'd be happy to give you guys some for extra help. Okay, so let me give you guys a little scenario right here. Up in here, I have some temperatures being stored as integers, okay? Temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit. And the position of that particular temperature in the array is representative of the coordinate location of the area in which that temperature was measured. Let me bring you guys here to try and demonstrate that concept a little bit better. So there was 4 columns and 3 rows. If I label my indices of the outer array at the top and my indices of my inner arrays along the side, you'll see that index 2, index 1 represents this location right here in the rows and columns definition. So therefore, I can use a two-dimensional array to model two-dimensional space. And so the value stored in the array at location 2, 1 was the temperature, let's say 78 degrees, at that location, 2, 1. So now my job is to determine the highest temperature and the location at which it occurs. Okay guys, so here is my code solution. This is example from earlier, you can ignore that. So I set my temporary max variable equal to 0 at the beginning. Then I use my for loop to iterate through the whole external array. So this iterates through all this index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3. And then there's a second for loop inside of that which iterates through the indices in the individual loops. I'm sorry, not the loops, the arrays inside of this primary array. Okay? So notice on the outside I do coordinates.length to represent the length of this array, and I do coordinates I.length to represent the length of this array. Okay? So this is my coordinate designation if I want to access the element I in the primary array and the element j in the secondary array. This is the syntax that I would use to do that. And I check if this is greater than my max value. If it is, then that becomes the new max value. Then I iterate through them all again to find the I and j location of my max value. And then I print out to the system the highest temp occurs at this location. You can see here that the highest temp of 92 occurs at location 3, 1, with the first index being 3 and the secondary index being 1. All right, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Enjoy life.